there everyone, welcome to my channel The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera and today I shall be reviewing a novel that belongs in the Star Wars universe, Ahsoka by author E.K. Johnston. It was published in October 2016 and it deals with a very beloved character in the Star Wars fandom, Ahsoka Tano, who was first introduced in the Star Wars animated TV series The Clone Wars and who happens to be Anakin Skywalker's Padawan learner. And before I begin, I want to say that this will be a review with spoilers, particularly for anyone who hasn't seen Clone Wars or the animated TV series Star Wars Rebels. Okay, so I'd never heard of Ahsoka Tano before I watched The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels earlier this year. These animated series, which I've already reviewed in other videos, are amazing and a must for any Star Wars fan. Clone Wars fills a gap between episodes 2 and 3, and Star Wars Rebels is set between episodes 3 and 4. So yeah, anyways, I'm ashamed to say that some months ago I had no idea that my favorite character in the Star Wars fandom, Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, had a Padawan learner. But Ahsoka quickly stole a place in my heart from the moment she first appeared in the Clone Wars. She's amazing and her character arc is outstandingly well done. And I guess that beyond being a courageous character that I admire, I love Ahsoka because she's a living testament to Anakin Skywalker's legacy. He was her Jedi Master for years, they had a beautiful friendship, and so when Anakin becomes Darth Vader, we see that through Ahsoka and her involvement with the rebellion, all of Anakin's previous teachings live through her. They inspire her to survive and help others. So it's almost like through his previous actions when he was Anakin, Darth Vader is helping weaken the Empire. And it's so bittersweet yet inspiring that had Annie not been Vader, I'm sure he would have been right beside Ahsoka fighting against the Empire. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love Ahsoka so much as a character, but also because I think that she fills this place in Anakin's storyline where she sort of represents a daughter-sister figure to him. Through Anakin's interactions with Ahsoka, we get to see how he would have been like a father and like a big brother. And it's not a surprise that Ahsoka and Princess Leia share a lot of quality. So whenever I think about the relationship that Leia Skywalker couldn't have with her father, I think of Ahsoka and I know that they would have been really close. And here too, I could add that Padme sort of represents a mother figure for Ahsoka, but I'm getting off the subject. I'll address Ahsoka's relationships with the Skywalker family in another video one day. It starts a year after Order 66 has happened. Oh, there are some flashbacks to previous years, and there are some parts that aren't even told from Ahsoka's point of view. We get Annie's point of view, we get Obi-Wan's, we get Bail Organa's, we get the Grand Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels' point of view, and some original characters as well. So yeah, we learn how it is that Ahsoka escaped Order 66, how she managed to hide during the first year after the Galactic Empire was created, while it hunted down all the Jedi it could. We see how Ahsoka deals with such traumatic events, and we see how she gets involved in the business of helping out / saving people once again, which leads her path to meet with that of Bail Organa, the famous senator and adoptive father of Princess Leia, one of the key founders of the Rebel Alliance. And finally, we see how it is that Ahsoka becomes Fulcrum, the leader of the rebellion we get to meet at the end of Star Wars Rebels Season 1. As much as I love Ahsoka, and this book serves as a bridge between the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, dealing with a really interesting part of her life that we hadn't been able to explore before, there were some things that I didn't like about this book, unfortunately, which don't allow me to give it a 5 out of 5 stars review. I guess I'll give it a 4. And I'll start with what I don't like about the novel, and then I'll move on to what I did like. A minor detail could be that I was hoping the novel would deal more with the Convor, this bird-like animal that is highly linked to Ahsoka's arc. But maybe if this had happened, we would get some spoilers for what's to come for her storyline after we last see her at the end of Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels. But another thing that I believe could have been improved in this book was the way specific things were dealt with. For example, when Ahsoka learns that Bail Organa is running a rebel alliance, this is a big deal. A senator is actually actively defying the Empire, even if it's in secret. But Ahsoka just sort of accepts it as if it was no big deal, or at least that's the way that I perceived it. So yeah, the scene was written from a wrong angle. I would have liked to see her train of thoughts as she realizes that she can once again become a part of a group that is trying to help out the galaxy. Another scene that I thought was underplayed was when Ahsoka finally meets up with R2 again. I guess it just comes to everyone's personal opinion, but I thought that she wasn't as emotionally affected as I would have believed she would have been when this happened. She spends the first part of the book thinking about him, and then when she finally meets up with him again, she doesn't even ask him about Anakin. Like, sure, she can't feel him in the Force anymore, but she could have been like, do you know what happened to Anakin? R2 is the one that brings Anakin into the conversation. And maybe not mentioning Anakin is Ahsoka's way to deal with the fact that she believes her master to be gone. But I don't know, I didn't feel that it was a really big deal for Ahsoka to meet up with R2 because of the way that whole moment was written. Another thing that I didn't like was that before the novel came out, I had formed this specific idea of what was gonna happen in the book, and I was expecting that, and when I didn't get it, I was disappointed. I wanted the book Ahsoka to resemble the Kanan Jarrus comics, where we see what happens to Kanan just as Order 66 is happening, how he manages to escape the clones that want to kill him, how he has to go into hiding without knowing what's going on, why are Jedi being killed and betrayed, and how it is that he comes to accept the fact that he has to leave his past behind and take a new identity if he wants to survive. I wanted to see this with Ahsoka, not get it through flashbacks. I once saw a panel on YouTube where one of Ahsoka's creators, Dave Filoni, said that once Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, she ends up in Mandalore trying to bring down Darth Maul, who is ruling the planet. And while she is doing this, Order 66 happens. It is on this planet, right before Order 66 happens, that Anakin and Ahsoka last see each other before they meet again in Twilight of the Apprentice, and we see all of the clones that Ahsoka fought with during the Clone Wars sort of saluting her as a general because they've come to admire her, and that would have been a really emotional but amazing moment to find in the novel. And although we do get her confront Darth Maul, it is in a flashback, so it didn't have the same impact. The same with when she has to escape Order 66. We just get in a flashback the aftermath of it. We don't get her specific thoughts. I mean, I wanted to know, how did she escape in detail? What was going through her mind as she's feeling all of the Jedi being killed around the galaxy, wondering what was happening to them, and then wondering what happened to Padme, for example. I would have liked to have seen her trying to make sense of all the rumors that were running around that the Jedi had betrayed the Republic, and her despairing because she had no idea what happened to Anakin and Padme and Master Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I could go on. I guess I wanted more drama, and instead we got these situations closed over or completely ignored. Instead, we meet up with Ahsoka a year after Order 66, as I have said, where she sort of settled into this routine of not thinking about her former life as much as she can. And while I get that this is a very acceptable reaction for her to cope with what has happened to the Jedi, the author describes her day-to-day life in a way that was boring for me, and the situations that lead Ahsoka to wanna join the rebellion while she's getting to know some local people as she's hiding in their planet. I just wasn't captured by those storylines. The original characters are not compelling for me. And then, as I was talking about earlier, when Ahsoka meets up with Bail Organa, she could have asked him about Padme, and instead we don't get any mention about Padme's whereabouts from either of them as they are talking. I mean, if Ahsoka knows that Anakin and Padme were together, she could have at least asked Bail, hey, do you know what happened to Padme? And maybe Ahsoka already knows that Padme died. We don't have to get the scene where she learns this, but could have gotten a mention that confirmed it. And beyond what Padme and Anakin had together, Padme was a good friend of Ahsoka. Padme even defended Ahsoka in her trial the way she defends Anakin to the very end with her last breath. So I would have liked some Padme recognition in the novel. But despite all of this, there are some good things in the book. Details really that sort of saved the book for me and make me give it 4 stars review instead of less. There was a chapter told from Anakin's point of view in a flashback just before he learns that Ahsoka will be his Padawan, and that was a nice chapter. I liked it because it confirms my idea that Anakin would have been happier had he been only a general without having to become a Jedi, because the obligations that being a Jedi entailed were not that good for him. And we also get some reference to the fact that whenever he's in an official mission with Padme during the Clone Wars, they managed to get some alone time together and have fun. And as a big Amidala fan, that was really cute for me to see. And also, I like this chapter because it shows that Anakin had mixed feelings about how Obi-Wan sort of just goes ahead sometimes and does things without really taking into account how Anakin will feel about them. And I also like like the reference to how Anakin is the best pilot in the galaxy because he is. And then there's a chapter from Obi-Wan's point of view where he visits Shmi Skywalker's grave, and that was really heartbreaking because it was full with regret and grief and recalling the past. But I do have a problem with something. He says that Anakin's lightsaber is the only piece left of him. And like, what about the twins? They're the true living, breathing testament of Anakin's goodness, of his legacy to the world. And they're the hope that Obi-Wan has, and Bail Organa and Yoda, to build a new world where the Sith no longer rule. So that was kind of a thing that really bothered me. I also like that this book confirmed the theory that Obi-Wan tells R2 that Anakin died on Mustafar. And I thought that it was really sad but realistic the way that Ahsoka doesn't learn the twins exist. But at least she's very concerned in keeping Force-sensitive children away from the Inquisitors. That has always been a really dark and eerie and fascinating storyline since way back in the Clone Wars. Another bit that I did like was that it was confirmed that Ahsoka knows Palpatine is the Emperor. See how she gets the crystals for all of her lightsabers, the ones she had during the Clone Wars, and then the white ones that she has in Star Wars Rebels. And then I really liked how she realizes that she wants to work in the middle road rather than living in the extremes like the Jedi did. Because this sort of backs up my belief that a grey Jedi is the best kind of Jedi out there, and a grey Jedi is the closest version to the original ideal version of a Jedi. Before the Jedi Order got corrupted by politics to the point where during the prequels they're basically serious puppets. So this is all for my review of Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston. I shall keep my fingers crossed that you enjoyed it, but even if you didn't, please share with me your opinions, and thank you for watching my video. I really want to talk to you all about Ahsoka because she's an amazing character. In the description box below you can find a link to the Goodreads page for the novel, and I just hope you have a great day. I'm Carolera, the Mental Traveler, and may the Force be with you.